Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama,
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Raja.
Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
bolo.
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama.
Hare Hare.
Please, everyone, all together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Hare Hare.
One more time, much louder, please.
Hare
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
One more time, much louder. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Last time, all together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Bolo.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Bolo.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
One, two,
Rama
one, two.
Rama, Hare Hare.
One more time, all together.
One,
Hare
two.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
all together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
all together, much louder. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama, Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. Haribo. So just a couple of announcements before Guru Maharaj comes. We'd like to welcome especially all of Srila Prabhupada's disciples. And welcome, thank you for coming. And all of the disciples and well-wishers. We'll also welcome again when Maharaj comes. Maharaj is about 15 minutes away. So we will build the tempo, kirtan. A couple of announcements. Prasadam will be at 9:15, but they do need some volunteers who can help serving. So if those who would like to help serving the prasadam, please gather in the courtyard about 8:50. And there's a devotee called Mike that you need to talk to in the courtyard. They'll need about maybe 5 or 8 devotees. So that's the announcement. Maharaj is on his way. So in about 15 minutes, he'll be here. All right, we'll continue with the kirtan. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everyone all together. Bolo bolo. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Please everyone, please chant. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Please everyone all together. Haribo. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. One more time, much louder. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. One more time, all together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Jai Prabhupada.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Bolo bolo.
Hare Krishna,
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Gaur Hari Bol.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Radhe.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Radhe.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Radhe.
Hare Krishna,
Please all together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada.
Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. It's a wonderful occasion that we have Association of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. I would like to welcome, first of all of Srila Prabhupada's disciples who are seated on the left or the right from the stage, especially our temple president, Mother Vishakha, and all of the Haribol, and all the other senior Prabhupada disciples. Welcome, thank you for coming. I would also like to welcome all the disciples and well-wishers of Maharaj who are here. So we're very honored that Maharaj has given his precious time to us today to be with us and spend time. Let's welcome him by chanting 3 loud Haribol. Haribol! 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 Thank you.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivaradhari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Thira Banachari Jamuna Thira Banachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivaradhari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Thira Banachari Jamuna Thira Banachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Louder, please. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, everyone. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Haribo. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Hare Krishna. I'm very honored, grateful, happy, and feeling very blessed to be with all of you. Especially my very honored and worshipped God sisters, and God brothers who are gracing this occasion. I was only expecting about 30 or 40 people here. So I'm disoriented and I don't know where I am. But I will try to say something. Thank you. On Balaram's appearance day, we were discussing the mercy of Lord Balaram, which is especially coming into all of our lives as the mercy of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. And through him, the mercy of our Guru Parampara, who is personified divine grace, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. We were discussing the spiritual strength of Lord Balaram and how Srila Prabhupada on Balaram Purnima would instruct us to pray to Lord Baladev for spiritual strength. In Vrindavan, Balaram he liberated Dhenukasura in the Taliban forest. He liberated Pralambasura in the Bandiraban forest and demonstrated his power to overcome all obstacles. Sometimes it is explained that Pralambasura was the most deadly of all the asuras, and Krishna had Balaram slay. Balaram represents the Guru Parampara. In fact, the whole Guru Parampara represents Balaram. And how Narottam Das Thakur describes in his beautiful prayers to Lord Nityananda that without the mercy of Nityananda Balaram, no one can truly understand Krishna or Radhan Krishna. Don't feel bad. Every lecture that I give, somebody has to do this. I need to pray to Balaram for more strength in my voice. But for me, this microphone is Balaram's mercy to compensate for me. He describes, without the mercy of Lord Nityananda, no one can understand Radha Krishna. And we were explaining in lecture on Balaram Purnima how this was personified in a most powerful way through the life and example of Raghunath Das Goswami. By Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's own personal arrangement, he is forever worshipped as our Prayojana Acharya. By his example, by his teachings, by his life, he teaches the highest perfection of prayojana, the perfection of the goal of life. Especially, he revealed in the most genuine, authentic, and ecstatic way how to gain entrance into the Madhurya Ras, the conjugal pastimes of Sri Sri Radha Govinda. So a person of such caliber, of such esteem, how did he approach Lord Chaitanya? First of all, he had to go through so many obstacles. And he received his blessings originally from Haridas Thakur, the Namacharya, the guru of the chanting of the holy names. When he was just a boy, something like this child here, he was son of Govardhan and Majumata. And the elder brother was Hiranya. And they were such wealthy landowners, zamindars. Incredible wealth, incredible influence, power. And Raghunath was the only heir. There was no competition among brothers, sisters. 100%, the entire inheritance of this massive property and all the power and influence and fame that it brought about, it was all his. All he had to do is just keep breathing. But his parents were devotees. And Balaram Acharya, who was the priest of the family, he wanted Raghunath to get blessings. After Haridas Thakur had just delivered this prostitute who tried to destroy his life, she came to seduce him, knowing that as soon as he did, he responded to her. There would be guards that would beat him, imprison him, and possibly kill him. That was her intention. And Haridas Trinada Pisanechena, Tadori Baseheshna, Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadhani. He had such respect for every living entity, such compassion. He could have just left. But he said, I will fulfill all your desires, but I must finish my rounds first because I have a vow. So just sit here and wait till I complete my chanting. But what he didn't tell her is he never completes his chanting. That's what Kirtaniya Sadahari means. He's always chanting. Satatam Kirtayantomam. So she sat until sunrise, all night long. The birds were singing, the crickets were chirping, the moonlight was radiating, everything was so, they were all alone, and Haridas was chanting Mahamantra. And when the sun rose, he said, I'm sorry, I didn't finish my vow. Come back tomorrow. Same thing happened the next day. And the third day, he chanted all night. And in the morning, he said, yes, what is your wish? She said, I want to take initiation from you. I want to surrender and be your disciple. That's how she transformed him. And that was a big risk for her, because she was hired by Ramchandra Khan, who was a massively powerful landowner who hated Haridas because of envy. Because he was actually a Hindu, and he was posing himself as a very learned, great scholar and saintly person. And he had so much money and so much influence. But here's this person living in a jungle, wearing a kopin, a loincloth with nothing. And people had so much respect for him. This was intolerable. He was obsessed with destroying Haridas. So this lady, to become Haridas's disciple instead of destroying him, could really risk her life. But that was the transformation of her heart. So he told her, always chant Hare Krishna mantra and chant in front of Tulsi, worship Tulsi, and don't worry about anything, Krishna will supply. And she became such a great saint. Have any of you ever been to that place? It's in Bangladesh. It's not that far from the Indian border, West Bengal. And the name of that little village is Benapol. And even today, the place where Haridas Thakur was living in the forest is still there. And there's a temple with Haridas Thakur, and there's a deity of that prostitute there. Of course, I don't want to call her a prostitute anymore. There was a deity of that saint, of that pure devotee of the Lord there. So yes, Haridas really in every way throughout his pastimes is Acharya, the guru of the holy name, who was teaching by his example. So after this incident in Benapol, Haridas said, you can stay in my kutir, because actually when I found out that Ramchandra Khan was so angry with me, I was going to leave. But I stayed 3 extra days only to deliver you. But now I will leave. And he went to a place called Krishnapur, or Chandpur. Chandpur is in this Adi Saptagram area. Raghunath Das Goswami was from Krishnapur, which is just a neighboring village. And his family priest brought the young boy, he was a small boy, just to get the blessings of Haridas Thakur. And Raghunath, seeing the wealth of Haridas, he had no home. He usually lived in caves and jungles. He was always being persecuted, criticized, attacked. So at that time, he was always just moving from one place to another. But Raghunath saw he had Krishna Prem, love for Krishna. And Raghunath Das Goswami, from the core of his heart, he believed this is the real goal of life. This is the real wealth of life. This is the only true satisfaction of the soul. I want to become like him. This is quite radical. His parents did not approve. And it's not like there was a Hare Krishna movement, he could just move into a temple. He was with his parents. Haridas Thakur left and went, actually from there, Haridas went to Shantipur to live in a cave near Advaitacharya, which is quite a distance walking. But Raghunath Das Goswami, he was so deeply attached to this saintly person. And by the influence of this sadhu sangha, awakened from within his heart was the desire for pure bhakti. And what a test to go against the will of his... He was always respectful to his parents. He always honored them, spoke very noble to them. But he was just crying for Krishna and wanting devotional service. And eventually, he went to the house of Advaitacharya when Lord Chaitanya was just after he had taken sannyas, soon after he was actually on. And Raghunath Das, because his father and uncle were giving so much support to Advaitacharya and the Vaishnavas, they brought him to meet Lord Chaitanya. And he wanted to give his whole life for Lord Chaitanya's mission. And it's a long story, as many of you know it. And I wasn't intending to tell the story. But at a certain time, he was trying to escape from home. And in the Narottam Vilas by Naradi Chakravarti, he describes years before Narottam was even born, Lord Chaitanya, he went to Ramkeli, and after that he saw the Padma River, and the Padma River actually flows through Ketarigram. And he just faced that direction and cried out again and again, Narottam, Narottam. And Nityananda understood a great personality named Narottam is going to be born here. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Nityananda Prabhu, I'm going to deposit my prema bhakti, this Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahi. Radha Bhava Duti Subalitam Nomi Krishna Swarupam. Lord Chaitanya's Krishna, who was tasting the sweetness of Radha's love. Sri Radharani's love is within his heart. I'm going to deposit my love in the river Padma, and at the appropriate time, Nityananda Prabhu, you should deliver it to Narottam Das Thakur. When Narottam Das Thakur was crying to get the shelter of Lord Chaitanya, Nityananda Prabhu brought him to the Padma River through a vision, through a dream, and bestowed that love upon him. Eventually, Narottam Das Thakur, he was trying in so many ways to leave his home, but his mother and father, they had 12 guards around him 24 hours a day. They were serious, but not as serious as him. And at a certain time, he again met Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya said, don't be like a monkey. Monkeys look really renounced, but actually they're not. And he gave some details. He said you should be at home and act just like a person who is completely responsible for their household life. But in your heart, you should always be immersed in remembering Krishna and serving Krishna. So Raghunath Das Goswami, at that time, what a challenge he was facing. He got permission to go to Panihati because he heard Lord Nityananda Prabhu was visiting there. And his parents said, you can go visit Lord Nityananda, but all your guards and all the Brahmins have to surround you and be with you. Now this is the part of the story I wanted to share with you. What was Raghunath Das Goswami's approach? We have discussed the other day how because he took shelter of Lord Nityananda and because he served Lord Nityananda by pleasing all the devotees, Lord Nityananda Prabhu blessed him to be a personal assistant of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What's important to understand also is how he approached Nityananda Prabhu. His parents were very, very influential and powerful, even in the Vaishnava community. And he was an incredible person in every way. But he was too humbled to directly approach Lord Nityananda. It is described from a distant place with great shyness and humility. He felt unqualified to go near the Lord. He offered his obeisances at a distance. And there's no information that he ever intended to go any closer. He was just happy from a distance, just giving obeisances to Nityananda Prabhu. But one of Nityananda Prabhu's associates said, there is Raghunath. And Nityananda Prabhu saw him and said, Raghunath, you are like a thief. You are keeping a distance from me. And it doesn't say that Raghunath came to him then. He was still feeling too unqualified. Lord Nityananda Prabhu went to him and caught him. And Lord Nityananda put his foot on Raghunath Das Goswami's head. It's not that he just approached a guru. He approached a guru, Nityananda Prabhu, with such humility that Nityananda Prabhu actually came to him and said, and gave him such an instruction. Because you are behaving like a thief by keeping a distance, I give you this punishment. Feed all of my devotees and all others who come with Chida Dahi. Now here's a person who's practically a billionaire. Chida Dahi, they're like the cheapest foods. You know, if somebody really wealthy were to come, we'd probably say make samosas and malpuras and gulab jamuns and put a lot of saffron in it. Chida dahi, chipped rice, the cheapest food there is in India today and then, and not considered very tasty either. It's pretty dry. But then he dahi, which was very available. But he did it in such a way. He bought condensed milk, he bought dahi, yogurt. Of course, it was all ahimsa. And he soaked chipped rice, and after he soaked the chipped rice and milk, he soaked half in the condensed milk and half in the dahi. And then he gave everyone 2 little clay pots. And soon so many people came, and Nityananda Prabhu was so happy. Nityananda Prabhu, just to bless Raghunath Das Goswami, he called Lord Chaitanya to come and join the festival. And Lord Chaitanya came. Nobody could see him except Nityananda Prabhu and a few others. But in a transcendental spiritual form that you need Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena to see him, he was eating the chipped rice with Nityananda Prabhu, just to honor the love of Raghunath Das Goswami. And then that night there was a beautiful kirtan at the house of Raghava Pandit. And the next morning, it was actually Raghava Pandit who approached Nityananda Prabhu and said, Raghunath Das Goswami really wants the shelter of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And what was Nityananda Prabhu's benediction? He said, take the dust of the feet of all the assembled devotees. And what does that mean? Taking dust of feet of devotees is not just a ritual. That's a physical act. It's actually the dust part is symbolic of really humbling yourself with a desire to serve. And he took the dust of each devotee, and all the devotees were senior to him. They were all embracing him and blessing him. And afterward, Nityananda Prabhu, he said, because you have made all the devotees so happy by this feast that you arranged, and because Lord Chaitanya was so pleased by how you were serving the devotees, he personally came to witness it. Very soon, you will be liberated from all your material entanglements, and you will attain eternal shelter in the loving service of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But how? He said, you will be under the care as the servant of Swarup Damodar Goswami. So this is our Prayojana Acharya, the person of the highest level of guru in our sampradaya. And how was he in that innermost circle of Lord Chaitanya's associates? Never directly. Always as the servant of a servant. And Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita gives so many beautiful stories of how Lord Raghunath Das Goswami, he rarely spoke to Lord Chaitanya. When he had a question, he would ask Swarup Damodar Goswami, and Swarup Damodar Goswami would ask Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya would say, there's no need to ask me because Swarup Damodar Goswami knows everything, but since you asked me, I will tell you. The example of Raghunath Das Goswami in this way, who by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda, he was given by Lord Chaitanya the gift of the Govardhan Shila that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had for several years. He would wear it around his neck sometimes. And when he would cry in ecstasy of love for Krishna, he would bathe the Govardhan Shila. It's very sacred. This Govardhan Shila worship is not just a fashion, it's something very special and rare. That Lord Chaitanya, he gave this Shila to Raghunath Das Goswami. and taught him how to worship it, and gave him a kunjamala. And later, after he served Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the servant of Swarup Damodar Goswami for about 2 decades, he was in Puri. He had Swarup Damodar Goswami's notebook where he recorded the pastimes and teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he was hearing everything that was happening. And he was seeing so much. He came to Vrindavan, and Rupa and Sanatan Goswami gave him this place at Radha Kund. But how did he approach the Lord? It was never, I'm qualified to receive mercy. Of course, Narottam Das Thakur himself, he prayed, I got mixed up. I was speaking about Narottam, then I started talking about Raghunath Das Goswami. But I'll get back to Narottam. It's been a long day, actually. So, Patita Pavana Hetu Tabhavatar Mosamo Patita Prabhuna Pai Vihara. Lord Chaitanya, you are merciful to the most fallen. And that is my qualification, that I'm just so fallen. So please bestow your mercy upon me. This is actually the mood of all of our acharyas. So it was the mercy of Lord Nityananda that brought Raghunath Das Goswami to the feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and ultimately to Radha Kund. And Narottam Das Thakur, he received Lord Nityananda Prabhu's mercy. And through that connection, he actually received eternal service of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Vrindavan as a disciple of Lokanath Goswami. And when he left Vrindavan, he was sent by Jiva Goswami back to Bengal to spread the Krishna consciousness movement. And one of the most historic events is when Srinivasacharya and Thakur Narottam and Shamananda Goswami, they were arranging the first Gaur Purnima festival in Kedri, in the place that Narottam Das Thakur escaped from when he was a young man. A boy, actually. When he came back, his parents had already departed from this world, and his cousin had taken so much of the inheritance. But when Narottam Das Thakur came and shared with him the mercy and blessings that he had received from the 6 Goswamis, Santosh Dutt, his cousin brother, became his disciple. Said, the whole kingdom belongs to you. What should we do? Narottam Das he said, let us have a festival. And they invited whoever was remaining many years after Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda had left the world. They invited all of these devotees to come and attend this festival. And there's so many beautiful pastimes that happen in this but one of the most significant is on the day of Gaur Purnima, after Abhishekam and beautiful holy festival. They were to have a kirtan. And Nityananda Prabhu's consort, his Shakti, Janava Devi. She was at that time the most prominent, senior-most acharya of our whole Gaudiya Sampradaya. Even the 6 Goswamis worshipped and honored her as the acharya. She was the presiding acharya of this whole festival. Srinivas was there, Shyamananda was there, Narottam Das was there, so many of Lord Chaitanya's personal associates. I believe Achyutananda, the son of Advaitacharya. And when they were just about to begin the kirtan, Narottam started singing. And this is described in Bhakti Ratnakara. Janava Devi gazed upon Narottam Das Thakur. When she gazed upon him, her Shakti and the Shakti of Nityananda Prabhu, through her glance, completely infused his heart with such a power that when he began to chant, everyone was feeling such inconceivable feelings of love and separation from Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, and their associates. He was singing. Of course, his voice was beautiful, but his emotion, his compassion, his love, it was infused by Janava Devi. Nityananda Prabhu's Shakti entered his heart through her heart. And that kirtan was so rich with bhakti that at a certain pinnacle of their chanting and dancing together, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, Srivas Thakur, Advaitacharya, Gadadhar Pandit, who had already left the world years and years before. What to speak of Rupa and Sanatan Goswami, they had left here. Haridas Thakur, Murari Gupta, all these departed avatars, acharyas, they all immediately descended to join the kirtan. And they were all dancing together. And Janava Devi was crying, seeing her beloved Nityananda Prabhu again after so many years. Advaitacharya's children were again with their father. Some of Srivas's brothers were there again with their elder brother. And they're all dancing together. So when Srila Prabhupada describes we should pray to Lord Balaram for spiritual strength, that is one of the deepest statements that has ever been spoken. Because what is the history? What is the tattva? What is the rasa of the strength, of the love of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, the compassion of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, his infinite love in the spiritual world, which manifests as infinite compassion in this world. And as Janmashtami is coming, 3 days, a little more than 2 days. It's important that we take shelter through our prayers, through our intentions of Lord Balaram, as it's coming through Lord Nityananda Prabhu, as it's coming through Srila Prabhupada and our acharyas. Would any of my god sisters like to speak something? They are all following in the footsteps of Raghunath Das Goswami. Great devotees don't want prominence, they just want to serve. And if prominence comes, they use it in Krishna's service. Hare Krishna.
I should be farther back. Thank you so much for the wonderful talk.
I'm so happy to see you. Thank you for coming such long distance to bless all of us.
Thank you for being here, for telling that really wonderful story, and really the story of Raghunath Das and the humility, and how Srila Prabhupada really emphasized how humility really underpins our journey to love. We have to, Prabhupada always was so humble in the way he spoke about the acharyas, and how he was so generous in how he gave us these stories and this example of following in the footsteps of the acharyas, and doing it with intent, humility, and absolute gratitude. Because it's only by the grace of these acharyas that we are here today and able to engage in the process of discovery and the process of dedicating each day ourselves to the path of Mahaprabhu, the path of Nityananda, and the path of Balaram, who is a stalwart of strength and power and shelter. So thank you for just sharing these really important stories that are so embedded with lessons to deepen our quest for love of God. Thank you, Maharaj.
Actually, I was trying to say what you just said. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
So we're so grateful to hear these pastimes from you, because they really come alive and their relevance becomes so apparent, and we can live them by hearing from you, and then really understand the richness of our tradition and how much we are grateful to Srila Prabhupada for presenting this tradition with such purity and exemplifying it in his own life. So we can't thank you enough for coming and speaking to us in this way, so that we can really dive deep into this philosophy and the practice and expand our gratitude to Srila Prabhupada and to all the wonderful personalities that we read about in his books. So thank
Thank you.
Can I add one thing? These stories aren't from a long time ago. These stories are now. And that is when you tell these stories, and you're such a wonderful storyteller, Maharaj, these stories are actually in the fabric of our devotional life. And you bring them alive by sharing them. So thank you so much. They're timely and timeless. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Haribol, I feel like you are all Ishwaris gazing on me and empowering me. You are all like Janava's representatives. Haribol.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much. You have a just so beautiful way of it just flows, you know, the beautiful pastimes that we hear. And when we hear these pastimes from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya and the six Goswamis and all their associates, it gives us just a hint of hope, of the love, the compassion, the little beautiful exchanges of humility and, you know, just sweet, loving, but also personal exchanges that we can have with each other, the care and the compassion that we can show to each other. So I was struck recently, we were having the Julian Yatra Festival, and we were singing that beautiful bhajan, Jai Radhe, Jai Krishna. And I was struck, I think it's Krishna Das that wrote the bhajan, but at the end of it he prays to Janava. He says, keeping Janava Devi in my vision and for begging her mercy. So Janava, she was a very most powerful Vaishnavi, and she brought all the factions of the Vaishnavas together after the departure of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So thank you so much for being here with us and immersing us in these beautiful pastimes. Hare Krishna.
Their storytelling is always wonderful, and what really always comes across is the emphasis on serving the Vaishnavas. And I've noticed that always with your disciples, they're very much about serving the Vaishnavas, and that's always wonderful to see. So thank you.
Thank you. You were speaking about Janava Devi's mercy. After the Khetri festival, because of you, I'm going to continue the story. After she infused Narottam Das Thakur with her Shakti, with her Bhakti, with her Prema, and that attracted Lord Chaitanya to descend to the world with all of his associates for the kirtan. And they were all, can you imagine the ecstasy? If we're having kirtan and suddenly the Pancha Tattva and all the most intimate associates of Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya, are dancing with us and blessing and smiling and crying tears of their love and compassion. It was the ultimate happiness. But suddenly, like a flash of lightning, they all disappeared. And to whatever degree they were happy, now they were totally brokenhearted. They were bewildered. How could they live anymore after experiencing that? And who saved the situation? It was Janava Devi. She was feeling more than anyone. She was witnessing Nityananda Prabhu again, and now he's gone. But just to serve the devotees, when she saw everyone in such a state of bewildered separation, she called for Srinivasacharya, who was like in charge of the deity worship. And she said we should celebrate Holi now, because Gaur Purnima is also holy. So they offered all the powders and everything to the deities. And Janava Devi went on the altar, and she started sprinkling each deity with these powders of Holi. And actually that's the spirit of Holi, is Radha and Krishna. And there were various sets of deities that were all installed on that day. And she was sprinkling the powder on all the deities. And all the devotees were so happy to see the seva offered to Radharani and Krishna in various forms. And that satisfaction of seeing Krishna happy completely restored their hearts and increased their love, their hope, their will to serve. That was the power of her devotion. And then after offering a little of the powder to each deity, she took the Mahaprasad powder and began to sprinkle it on the devotees. And then the devotees began to sprinkle it on each other. Doesn't describe they threw it in each other's eyes and threw it in their mouths. They sprinkled. And everyone was dancing again and happy because they were receiving Mahaprasad. And in this way, she's like manifestation of Balaram Shakti, original guru, and how she was encouraging the devotees in every situation. And then, after the Kaitari festival, she told the devotees she wanted to go on a pilgrimage to Vrindavan. And her most loving associates who were with her, Gauri Das Pandit, several others, they all traveled with Janava to Vrindavan. And so many historic, inconceivable, wonderful pastimes of mercy on her travels to Vrindavan. There were dacoits and envious Brahmins who wanted to kill her. They were plotting to kill her on the way. And she didn't have any bodyguards or anything. She was just traveling with some simple-hearted devotees. And they were just walking and staying in different little villages and forests on the way. And in each case, in every situation, and there were many told pastimes, by the power of her forgiveness, her compassion, her love, she transformed all these people into great devotees, and they all took initiation from her. And when she arrived in Vrindavan, Sri Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, they had already departed from the physical world. But Jiva Goswami, Lokanath Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, they were still in Vrindavan. And she visited all the temples. And you know what she did when she visited the temples? Sometimes she would just go for darshan and pray. But on several occasions it describes she went to each of the Goswamis' temples and cooked for the deities. She cooked for the deities. Even in Kaitari festival, she was actually in charge of all the cooking. And she would cook and make offerings to all the deities and make sure prasad was offered to all the devotees in Vrindavan. But when she first came to Vrindavan, And Jiva Goswami was arranging for her service and accommodation. She asked, where is Raghunath Das Goswami? And Raghunath Das Goswami told Jiva Goswami told Janava that Raghunath Das Goswami, after Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda Prabhu and Swarup Damodar Goswami left this world, he went to Vrindavan to jump off Govardhan Hill because he couldn't bear living. But first he met Rupa and Sanatan Goswami. And they told him that you should stay with us because you're the only one among us who knows the Antya Leela of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Vrindavan Das Thakur gave us primarily Lord Chaitanya's Navadvip Leela and some stories of Lord Chaitanya after sannyas. But there was not much information of those pastimes. But Raghunath Das Goswami knew so much. He was practically the only surviving eyewitness. And he had the notebook of Swarup Damodar Goswami, who was at Lord Chaitanya's side day and night. So you should stay here and narrate the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya every day. And he was given a place at Radha Kund. And every day for several hours he would narrate the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. And one of his students who came every day and listened was Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. And how did Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami come to Vrindavan? Miniketan Ramdas was at his little village in Bengal. And one man was not respecting him because he didn't respect Nityananda Prabhu. And Kaviraj Goswami's brother did not respect Nityananda Prabhu. And Kaviraj Goswami had an argument with his brother, defending that how can you accept Lord Chaitanya without Nityananda Prabhu? The love they have for another. He said it's like the philosophy of half of a hen, that the front half eats grains and the back half gives eggs. No, we don't eat eggs, so this is an analogy, it's not an instruction. But a foolish person thinks, let me cut the hen in half, then I don't have to spend money feeding, I could just get the eggs. But if you try to divide them, the hen is dead. So trying to divide the mercy of Lord Chaitanya from the mercy of Lord Nityananda, it kills the possibility of receiving the mercy of either one. And Kaviraj Goswami left and went to, he was just so sad that his brother was so offensive. And he went outside and went to sleep. And that night Nityananda Prabhu appeared to him in a dream. Sometimes it's said as if it was a dream. He was asleep, but it was a vision, a divine vision. Nityananda Prabhu appeared to him and said, go to Vrindavan, and there all your desires will be fulfilled. And as soon as he woke up, he immediately left for Vrindavan. He was actually very old. He didn't think, how am I going to survive? Where am I going to live? Who am I going to be with? That was the power of Nityananda Prabhu's mercy. And there in Vrindavan for many years, every day he would hear from Raghunath Das Goswami. And all the Vaishnavas appealed to him that you should write the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Provide this wonderful history of Lord Chaitanya's Leelas, the tattvas of his teachings, the rasas of his love for him with his devotees, and make it available for all generations forever. And Srila Prabhupada described Kaviraj Goswami he was in his 90s when he got this instruction. How many people in their 90s begin a book like this? And there was no AI. It's like, write it for you. And there was no computers, there was no typewriters, there was no pens and papers. There was just palm leaves. And Kartik Chandra Prabhu, a few days ago, I was at his home, and he has such a beautiful library of ancient scriptures made with these palm leaves and natural dyes, and they're not even pens. They're like writing utensils. Some of them are made out of shoots of sticks. And he wrote the entire Chaitanya Charitamrita after receiving the mercy and blessings of all the Vaishnavas. And again, he's giving all credit to Lord Nityananda, who brought him to Vrindavan. And at the end of every chapter, he's offering his surrendered love and service to Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami. And in some places, Kaviraj Goswami is offering obeisances to every devotee who will ever read Chaitanya Charitamrita. He said, I take dust of your lotus feet and I worship every devotee who is reading this book. What an example of servant that is. He's not just serving the servants of his seniors. He's serving each of one of us every time we pick up. He's worshiping the feet of each of you every time you pick up to read Chaitanya Charitamrita. And he's a completely, purely liberated soul from the spiritual world. And who are we? And Srila Prabhupada describes, he's not just saying this in a poetic way. From the core of his heart, this is the way he feels. This is what we value as being truly exalted. This type of prema, this type of bhakti, this type of seva. And without the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, without the mercy of our gurus, it's actually impossible to even understand the value of this bhakti. Because from a material perspective, it really doesn't make sense. But what was the power of Srila Prabhupada's blessing coming to England and so many other countries of the world? What to speak of even reminding people in India of the value of true, pure bhakti. We are gathered at Bhaktivedanta Manor. And just recently I was listening to a lecture Srila Prabhupada was giving at Bhaktivedanta Manor. And because I know Prasad is after the program, I'm going to end soon. So please. Srila Prabhupada was describing the difference between impersonal philosophy, Mayavad philosophy, and Vaishnava philosophy. The Mayavad idea is that Brahma Satyam Jagan Mitya, that Brahma, or the Supreme, is truth, and this whole universe is false. Not just illusion, but false. It really doesn't exist. And Srila Prabhupada describes that this idea that the world is an illusion, the world is false, is an incomplete understanding. Om Purnam Ada Purnamidam. The absolute truth is perfect and complete. And all emanations of the absolute truth are also perfect and complete. Krishna is the Shaktiman. And his Shakti, his energies, his potencies are also truth. They're all spiritual. Srila Prabhupada explains darkness doesn't come out of the sun. Only light comes out of the sun. So how could darkness come out of Krishna? Only light comes out. Krishna's energies are light. The illusion is when we do not understand Bhaktaram Yakitapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suradam Sarvabhutanam Gyatvam Shanti Mrichati. That everything is meant to serve Krishna. Everything is meant for the pleasure of Krishna. And everything is the divine property of Krishna. And Krishna is the most intimate, loving, well-wishing friend who is seated in everyone's heart. Real peace can only come when we aspire for this realization. And by his mercy, Krishna gives that realization. So Srila Prabhupada explained the things of this world should not be seen as false. They should be seen as Krishna's sacred property to be used in Krishna's loving service. And they may be temporary in their manifestations. But even in a moment, if we use Krishna's energy for Krishna's service with love, we attain the ultimate liberation. So we don't know how long we'll live. We may leave this body today or tomorrow. Maybe 50, 60, 70, 80 years. But that's not much. But the times we have, the moments we're in this physical body, the moments we have the power to physically speak, to think with our brain, to utilize facilities like wood and metal and earth, water, fire, ether, mind, intelligence, ego. Every moment we can see these as Krishna's property for Krishna's pleasure and serve with devotion. That moment can attain entrance into eternity. That's how valuable actually everything is from a spiritual perspective. When we're thinking in terms of Janasya Mohoya Mohamameti, I and mine, that's an illusion. That misconception is false. It's not that the microphone is fault, but when I think in terms of I and mine, and that's how I utilize and perceive the microphone, that illusion is false. And then Srila Prabhupada, sitting here in the temple of Bhaktivedanta Manor, he said, previously this was Pigot Manor. Yes? And he said it was Pigot Manor and it was used for people's sense gratification. But now, the same property, the same trees, the same building, the same everything, it is now Bhaktivedanta Manor because it is used in Krishna service. And we're so grateful to you, Vishaka Devi Prabhu, for when Shruti Dharma Prabhu left this world, what an irreplaceable loss to all of our hearts, to all of the UK, to all of the world. And it's like, impossible. How can anyone come after that? But Srila Prabhupada sent you. One of Srila Prabhupada's most inner circle devotees, who he gave so much trust and so much affection and so much mercy to. Srila Prabhupada called you to Bhaktivedanta Manor to give his own presence and divine grace here, so we're so grateful. And Pranabandhu Prabhu has been here for forever. And my dear god sisters, Guru Charana Padma Devi and Kripamaya Prabhu and Manjuali Devi and Mataji, so many devotees who have been here from the time of Srila Prabhupada. Is coming to infuse us all with their love, their appreciation, their gratitude for not only Srila Prabhupada, but each and every one of you, for your sincere efforts to carry things on. And struggles will always be, but things are actually prospering in so many wonderful, wonderful ways. And because you are all, well, let us say, to the degree we're really grateful to Srila Prabhupada and those who are representing Srila Prabhupada for the gifts they've given us, that gratitude is expressed through reciprocation. "30 years after Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur left this world, Srila Prabhupada went to America to assist in his mission." That was his gratitude. We can't be like Srila Prabhupada, but we can try to follow that spirit by trying to actually really cultivate gratitude. Saragrahi Janardana. Krishna is pleased with those who seek the essence. And there's been many problems and there's been many disappointments. And there are many good logical excuses to just become discouraged or to give up. And in one sense, that's a test. But those who seek the essence, we're looking not for the things that are not Krishna conscious in the name of Krishna conscious. We may learn from those experiences, but we're actually seeking where there is real Krishna consciousness, where there is true Krishna consciousness. And that principle is eternal. And true gratitude is we're trying to seek that essence. And we're trying to be instruments to assist Srila Prabhupada and the other merciful personalities who have helped us in Krishna consciousness. We read Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. We're so grateful for this philosophy, for entrance into this spiritual realm of bhakti. And we want to express our gratitude. We want to cultivate that gratitude by being with grateful people as much as possible. Satsang means to be with people who are really grateful, who are really seeking the essence, who are really trying to uplift each other. And that's the most precious gift of life. Why should we waste even a moment with other stuff? And then we reciprocate. And because so many wonderful devotees here at Bhaktivedanta Manor and Radhalananishwar Temple and Soho Street, so many devotees over the years and in the present have just continued to try to encourage one another to present the purity of what bhakti truly is. Radha Gokulananda is pleased, and things will continue to prosper. Today I was meeting some of the leaders, and we were discussing all those years when Bhaktivedanta Manor was apparently closed down. With so many difficulties and so many heartbreaks and so many almost impossible obstacles. But because devotees were sincere, they all became blessings. Radha Gokulananda gave all of you opportunities, facilities, properties that you could have never had before without crossing through those difficulties. So it's important, through sunny and stormy days. Sometimes we consider stormy days are hard and sunny days are real nice. But these days, sunny days are hard. So stormy days and sunny days, either one could be a challenge, either one could be a blessing. But we see the blessing that's imminent in everything, every opportunity. We were discussing Srila Prabhupada at Radharas Bihari Temple. What an example that was. Radharas Bihari were in a little shack. And one of the most powerful people in Bombay, I think he was a sheriff, he was the head of newspapers. He had mafias under his control, he had military, he had the police force on his side. And he was determined to take the property away. And what did Srila Prabhupada have? He's like at the time, like 73 years old, he's Swami. And he just has a few Western disciples who really don't know how to deal with politics in India. Srila Prabhupada was never discouraged. It was practically 99% chance everything would be lost by material standards. But Srila Prabhupada said that I promised to build a house for Radharas Bihari here, and with all my life I must fulfill that promise. This is their land. Nobody else except a couple devotees believed that. But now, it's the most popular temple in all of Bombay, city of about 20 million people. And in 2 days on Janmashtami, they'll be getting about 800,000 people coming on that one day every year. There's no way to sell tickets in that situation. Not even giveaway tickets. But, of course, they don't have parking problems there. Well, who would have thought Bhaktivedanta Manor is practically closed down, and now you're expecting 60,000 people to come for the festival. Largest Janmashtami in the world outside of India. So I've come for Janmashtami actually only for one reason: to bow down and to thank all of you. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada. So Janava Devi said, I want to see Raghunath Das Goswami. They're in Vrindavan. She just arrived. She said, how is Raghunath Das? He's suffering separation, not only from Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda and Swarup Damodar, but after Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami left this world. He's just in so much separation that everyone is really worried about him. So Janava Devi, she was a very elderly lady at the time. She said, take me immediately to Radhakund. And they walked. Jiva Goswami walked with her and several other of the Goswamis. They walked all the way from Radha Damodar temple in Vrindavan. And they came to Govardhan Giriraj, and they were approaching Radhakund. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, who was a student of Raghunath Das Goswami, he saw, actually Raghunath Das Goswami was just chanting the holy names and so much pathetic feelings of love and separation. He could hardly even walk. This was the nature of his ecstatic feelings of love for Vaishnavas. And Kaviraj Goswami told Raghunath that Janava Devi has come. And when Raghunath heard that, he actually jumped up. And even though it was so hard, he struggled. Janava Devi was coming toward Radhakund, and he was going as fast as he possibly could to meet Janava. And when he arrived at Janava, he bowed down and took the dust of her lotus feet. This is the crest jewel of renunciation, the ultimate sannyasi, the ultimate Goswami. And he's taking the dust of the feet and worshiping Janava Devi, and seeing him, Janava Devi was crying with motherly love. And why did she go there? Just to encourage him. And he was infinitely encouraged. And I'm afraid to go any further than this. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Should we have short kirtan before prasad? think there's prasad for everyone? Did they actually make enough prasad for so many devotees? Huh? They cook for everyone, meaning everyone. This is the miracle of Bhaktivedanta Manor. Everyone, please let us dance. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirbhishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Radha Gokula Nanda Radha Gokula Nanda Radhe. Radha Gokula Nanda Radha Gokula Nanda Radhe. Radha London Ishwara Radha London Ishwara Radhe. Vanshakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Thank you very much.
His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj ki.
Let us loudly chant 3 Haribol in gratitude for Maharaj. Haribol! 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 Thank you very much, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.